Are you on edge? We live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of the Edge of Everyday podcast, which drops bi-monthly on all your favorite podcast platforms. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and tough talk about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. Real talk with real people that sparks provocative invitations to leap out of what's safe. Sandra Bargman, on the edge of every day. Thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandra Bargman, and welcome to the Edge of Everyday, streaming on your favorite podcast platforms and at maximizeyou.life. Are you a change maker? Do you walk between worlds, between cultures, between systems? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Edge of Everyday is the place for you. In a nutshell, this podcast is about pushing boundaries and exploring rough edges. Through conversations and shared stories with friends and colleagues, it's my hope that we can begin to understand our edges. And what I mean by edges is those places where we are fearful, those places where we are resistant to change, those places where paradox and contradicting identities live in our beliefs and in our understandings, both individually and collectively. We live in edgy, challenging times, and we cannot keep looking away from the ugly, from the difficult, and silence is no longer an option. Life isn't black or white, it's both, and I want to talk about that. I want to face the tension of paradox, and I want to engage in the hard conversations. I want to explore the rough edges between our light-filled brilliance and our dark, shadowy corners. Because the more we recognize our own edges and get real about them, the more we can help others to do the same, and that, I fully believe, can help to change the world. So, thanks again for tuning in. Today is April 1st, 2025. Happy April Fool's Day. April is my natal month, and spring has officially sprung. Here in New York, it's still very chilly, but the frogs are chirping on my pond, on my property here in the Catskill Mountains, and the morning bird song is vibrant and flirty. The Fool in tarot represents new beginnings, having faith in the future, not knowing what to expect, having beginner's luck, improvisation, and believing in the universe. I mean, is that perfect for the times in which we live? That's certainly something to celebrate today. For the last 5 years, April Fool's Day has become a more significant day in my life. April Fool's Day is the anniversary of my father's death, a death from the progressive neurodegenerative disorder, Alzheimer's disease. I have to say, even through my grief over losing him, I've had many good hearty laughs over him leaving the planet on, of all days, April Fool's Day. The fool archetype in literature, often seen as a wise fool or jester, is a character who, through seemingly simple or foolish behavior, challenges authority, speaks truths others cannot, and acts as a counterbalance to societal norms, often with humor and resilience. Now that is a perfect segue into our guest today. Today, we are live in the hive with our special guest, actor, comedian, choreographer, playwright, multi-hyphenate extraordinaire, and master storyteller, Melinda Buckley. Melinda has written and performed several solo shows, her latest being Mother and Me, which we will focus on for much of our conversation today. Mother and Me is a fast-paced 75-minute piece that uses the power of theater to bring people together around an important issue, Alzheimer's, and the struggles families face while caring for a loved one. It's a daughter story of love, loss, and goulash. Mother and Me is the story of a larger than life Hungarian Mama Rose who's slowly waltzing into dementia as her Broadway baby, Melinda, shimmies into middle age. An outrageous one woman show about stepping up and into your own light. What distinguishes Mother and Me is that the subject is handled with skill and, more importantly, with humor and with resilience. Melinda and I have so much to talk about, so many similar experiences on our journeys, but in particular, the themes of the artist as healer and the complicated, somewhat consuming mother-daughter relationship. In this April Fool's episode, we explore the edges between storytelling and grief, caregiving and advocacy, humor and healing. Where they meet is where the power of the artist emerges. So without further ado, it is time to introduce our guest. Melinda Buckley is a creative director, writer, and executive speaker coach with an enormous Broadway and TV and film background. Her extensive storytelling experience informs everything she does, whether it's a brand or an individual, live or virtual. She works organically to discover the core elements of a client's message and then helps them deliver it through compelling creative content and presentations that make a positive impact. She has appeared on Broadway and in the national tours of several shows, including Crazy for You, A Chorus Line, and Bob Fosse's revival of Sweet Charity. She's performed improv and sketch material at Gotham City Improv and Chicago City Limits, and has appeared as a stand-up at Caroline's Stand Up New York and Gotham Comedy Club. She is a proud member of Equity, SAG-AFTRA, and SDC, Stage Directors and Choreographers Society. Welcome, Melinda Buckley.
Thank you.
Yay!
Oh my goodness.
BTW, everyone. That's like the tip of the iceberg of her resume.
Wow.
So,
I'm
a
so
link, of course, a link to her bio and all things, of course, as you know, listeners, will be in the show notes. Welcome,
yes.
welcome, Melinda. I'm so excited you are here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I was so thrilled when you asked me.
Oh, thank you. Well, as
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to share with our listeners. I've wanted Melinda to come on like forever since I met you, and I'll tell you listeners how I met her. But somehow it kind of fell off our radars, I believe. And the other morning, I literally woke up thinking about April Fools and how it was the anniversary of my father's passing and who died of Alzheimer's. And Melinda and her show and her work popped to my head. And I was like, oh, I know it's not a lot of planning, but I hope she could come on for this. This would be perfect to honor my dad and honor Melinda and her mom and this incredible disease, unpack it and talk about how it can be healed through art and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Such
I
big stuff.
know.
It just,
I
my heart is pounding already.
yeah. Well, I trust the synchronicity of this and you know, such a great topic. Uh
Yeah. Well, and you've done wonders with educating people on it. But before we get to that,
yes.
we're going to dig into all of that.
Yeah.
I like to share how I know my guests,
Sure.
and we have to shit out. Okay, Leslie, we're not going to shit out. We're going to shout out. Although that might make Leslie a little jealous if I shit out. Leslie Ellis, one of my dearest friends from college, a lifelong bestie, is good friends with Melinda and introduced us because Leslie had just seen Mother and Me in Massachusetts. Now, how do you know Leslie?
Well, Leslie, one of my boyfriends in the way back times was in Cats, And
Oh,
Leslie
of
was
course.
the phenomenal lead
Yes.
in that
Grisabella.
production. Oh my goodness. So wonderful. She just has such talent.
Yeah, no,
So I
she's
got to
great.
know her then, but then I also hired her because, I've done a lot of corporate theater.
Yeah.
I've hired her a number of times and we just became, she's just somebody that we don't see
Yeah.
each other for years. And then it's like no time has passed and we laugh our asses
I
off.
love it. Yeah. By the way,
Yeah,
we're more
she's
than welcome
special.
to swear on my,
Okay.
more than welcome to swear. I have a
Excellent.
saucy sailor mouth. Yeah, no,
Okay.
she's great. And well, I've had her on the podcast too, and she's talked about, I
Oh,
had her on for a Halloween special,
huh.
and she talked about Grisabella as, her vulnerable, who's seen as a witch and her vulnerable path,
Yes,
and
yes.
how Leslie really walked through that while she was playing the role. It was
Wow.
spectacular. So yes, folks, you can
Yes.
go look up the Halloween episode with special guest Lucy Ellis.
Yes. Yes.
All
She's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah, she truly is. Okay, I'm gonna dive into the question, my number one most favorite question to ask my guests at the top of the podcast. What identity do you, Melinda Buckley, lead with?
Oh,
No, that was a perfect reaction.
that's
I
like
love that. It's
it's
just such a wide open question.
it is. It's
And there's so
lovely.
many directions you can go with it.
One of the first things, and I don't know that I have the right word for it, but one of the first things is um I think like helper. Um,
Mm.
you
Oh, how
know,
perfect. Yes. Yeah, I can totally see that about you and everything I've read about you. Absolute a service leader, service
yes.
artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was a huge thing with I will tell you that I never wanted to do an autobiographical one person show. I had done solo shows before, but there were characters and they were very Tracy Ullman, those kinds of, because I came out of the Groundlings East, which was the Groundlings in the New York version of them.
Mhm.
Um, but
That's a comedy troupe for my listeners who don't know Groundlings.
yes. So, but I'd be so indulgent, to talk about
Oh, I so get that. It's like,
my life and everything. Yes, exactly. Um, But once I started realizing that this show, this story it was really kind of a service thing, helping people, bringing them along my journey and being able to, I always said that from the very beginning, I wanted to show them that there are, as hard as it is, there are gifts on the other side. And I truly believe that. And I also wanted to create the show as a space for people to come and laugh and cry with me. And then, of course, I always invite the Alzheimer's Association or any kind of dementia group for Q&As afterwards. So we make it a real community event.
yeah, so glorious. Did you, I mean, were you always aware that you were a service leader with your artistic talent? Was that something that you were plugged in prior to finally being able to step into telling your own story?
Actually, no, not at all.
Mm.
It's funny now because I think about all the years I spent like dancing and on Broadway, and doing all these things and coming to New York and wanting to be a star, triple threat and all of that stuff. And I think once I did achieve some of those dreams, I started to realize um, it's wonderful, but there was a little bit of an emptiness to it.
Oh, woman, you're telling my story. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, that,
and it was because and I could feel it in myself. It was about ego and that kind of thing. And like I said, it was such a shift once I got into storytelling and especially that story.
mm,
It took away the nerves, it took away so many things. And in fact, I always lead with that when I'm teaching. I coach a lot of solo performers and people developing their own shows.
yeah.
And even when I coach executives, I coach CEOs on presentations and things like that. And they're always so nervous because it's not what they do.
Right.
And you can flip that switch to understand that whatever you're doing is service.
Service. And it's interesting
Yeah. And somebody needs to hear what you have to say.
to say. Love that.
Yes, yes. So,
So true. Well, and but it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes
mhm,
courage to find that presence,
mhm.
to be right there and really not scripted and really, I mean, doing this podcast, you have to know, has been instrumental in service to that quality in me. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
really just yeah, changed my life in so many unexpected ways. And
right.
speaking of unexpected ways, because you just mentioned your talkbacks. Well, no, let's wait on that. Let's get to talkbacks. Let's start at the very beginning. I feel a song coming on. The role of the artist. And I want to combine this with the relationship with your mom, because tell us about your mom. From what well, I won't put words in your mouth. Tell us about your mom, your relationship, and how this moved into you wanting to, and how you moved into the role of caregiver with her.
Well, so my mom, like say in my little blurb, she was a larger than life Hungarian Mama Rose. Like, so I take that from Gypsy, the Mama Rose. She was a stage mom, and to a great degree, she was this beautiful, really beautiful, like Zsa Zsa Gabor, beautiful um, woman who was funny and fearless, and she had things that I never had, just that ability to just get out there and be quick on her feet, and all of these things. And I was completely enamored of her growing up because she looked like the people in the movie star magazines.
Yeah.
And but then she had this incredible story, escaping Hungary. And it was very exotic to me. And we brought over my aunt, her sister, and my cousin and her mom, and they all lived with us. And I was
Wow.
just so fascinated with that side of the family.
Yeah, this gaggle
Um,
of women.
yeah.
Is your dad, was he in the story? Is he in the
Well,
story as well?
he is. We touch on it, but basically what happened was he was an American GI, met
Ah, okay.
met my mom when she had escaped to Germany. She was like through two prison camps, got to Germany. Um, yeah,
Well,
crazy. And
obviously, just for listeners, I have not seen the show.
right.
Full disclosure, unfortunately. That's why I'm reacting like this. Please
Yeah,
continue.
and we do it like a whole little like segment of it, because she had a really rough life.
Mm.
Finally getting to Germany, and she was caught by this American soldier, and arrested for stealing wood. And that arresting officer happened to be my soon-to-be father. So it was just very kind of like, when you're a kid hearing these stories, and
Oh my,
you know,
it's like
how
right out of
she
a movie.
yes, exactly. She escaped one camp by trading a pack of cigarettes for a Hungarian officer's uniform. I mean, there are all these incredible stories. And then of course she got here, and my dad, um uh they just had a very tumultuous relationship. He was an
Mhm.
alcoholic, he was a gambling addict, he was,
Mhm.
all these, not great things there, and eventually he deserted us. So here she was, no license. She spoke English, but no credentials to actually get like a great job. She had teaching credentials in Hungary, but they didn't
But they
translate
didn't try.
here. So she's working three jobs and trying to
And the
keep
times that she was in,
the
well,
times.
yeah.
I when I look back and think, her name wasn't on the mortgage, so we lost the house. You know what I mean? She couldn't get a loan. in her own name because back then women couldn't get credit cards or
Right.
loans. So anyway, challenging life. And all the while pushing me to dance school, do this recital, getting me in a ballet company, like, behind me pushing,
So
all,
you didn't have that impulse. She kind of pushed you to have
you
that
know,
impulse.
I loved it. I mean, I did love it, but, it's like a normal, a lot of ways I wanted to be a normal kid. And I think sometimes when you have uh, a single mom, um, at that time in a small town who's Hungarian, who like, there was a lot of like felt feeling different.
Mm.
A lot of the, everybody knew about my dad. I mean, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
just that kind of
Yeah. You
thing. So
wanted to very much to fit in.
I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be a cheerleader. I didn't want to go to ballet school. You know, of course, that was crazy because, ballet literally saved my life.
Mhm.
But anyway, so she pushed and pushed and pushed, and that was a lot of the friction in our relationship was because it was a little her way or the highway, and it's kind of what she knew, and it was her survival mechanism. Just push, don't stop, don't think, just keep going.
I mean, I had an incredible relationship with my mom too, and I was enamored of her as well. And I cared for her through cancer, not through Alzheimer's. And my mother, you'd never be able to call her. I mean, she certainly supported me in all of my desires, my theatrical desires, but only after she discovered that I had them. But there was always never not a sense of her living vicariously through what I did. Did you
Mhm.
feel that?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And
I mean, were you really consciously aware of it, or was it just sort of something you discovered maybe later?
well, in a way it was part of our incredible bond
Yeah.
because like when I was in the ballet company and we had to do we had to have a long we were doing Scheherazade or some kind of ballet and we had to have long ponytails and I had short hair, so I remember we went to like Anne and Hope. Do you remember Anne and Hope?
Totally. Yes. Yes. Oh my God.
We went to
Yes.
Ann and Hope and we got like this. The only ponytail they had was blonde. So here I was, like in eighth grade. My mom's, well, we're just gonna dye your hair blonde. Just no problem, And I'm in this Catholic school and I show up one day as a bleached blonde. No, but she was
Excellent.
that kind of like, yes,
Yeah.
do it. Well,
Seize the moment.
seize the moment, she didn't think twice about it. And we had that, we enjoyed that, but she had this flair for theatrics that I think we both. So I think as I started getting successful, as I started doing, shows and things like that, she was my biggest fan.
Yeah.
She was there, you know, when you see the show, you'll see all the references to how many times she came to see me do a chorus line, you know,
Oh my Lord.
just
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and in fact, um, to jump ahead, because
Yeah.
we had that bond, one of the things when she was in, like slipping down into the dementia, one of the ways I could always bring her back was the music from the shows I did.
Totally.
And
Well, as we know, music is
yeah,
such a connection.
yep, yeah,
So when did you discover when was it that you started noticing and discovering and her moving into dementia and I read that you started journaling and that was a way for you to really deal with your feelings around that
yes,
and beginning to
yeah,
have to embrace this role of caregiver.
yeah. Well, basically what happened was, my mom was also a very I want to say that the other side of her was a really challenging personality.
Hmm.
And the older she got, the more challenging it became. And my brother, who lived in the same town as she did, he was just like, he was married with kids. He just couldn't deal with her. I mean, he had his own relationship with her. And I was always, the one with the phone calls, taking care of her, like, oh, he didn't mean it that way, or just always emotionally a
Yeah.
caregiver for
Yeah.
her
That makes
because
sense.
she uh confided in me, all of yeah, we were just that we had that kind of relationship where I always felt like I was taking care of her.
Yeah, minorly codependent. And the
Yep.
reason I feel powerful enough to say that is I had it too.
Yeah.
I was my mother's confidant.
Yes. Yes. So
Which is great and not so great.
exactly.
Complicated and sometimes very psychically heavy.
Yes. And then so then I got married and it became just like more pronounced because I was pulled into being
Mm.
married, having a stepson, and and then it was just so challenging because I was like, on the phone with her all the time. And then, you just started to notice things. Um, my brother called me one time and he said, like, have you been to mom's apartment recently? I just feel like because she was a neatnik, she always kept things very clean and very pretty. And he said she's just things just don't look right, And then when I went to see her, I was like, oh, I started, you just started noticing these things and we didn't know what it was and started taking her to doctor appointments and she was fiercely in denial.
Oh, yeah. Same
Fiercely,
with my dad.
fiercely. Yep. Just no, didn't want any help. I mean, I remember I had an appointment with a gerontologist, like a geriatric doctor, and to get an assessment. And when I got there, she was still in her nightgown and refused to go. And I went to the appointment without her because I just needed help to
Yeah.
figure out, what to do. And it's a big part of the show, like how we finally got the diagnosis and that. And then, I mean, through this time, I think I was journaling, but once we got the diagnosis, it was, it's like, and you probably did this too, because you're like me, you just this crash course in Alzheimer's. Let me just
Yeah.
learn everything I can. Let me do everything. And I started YouTube videos. I'm just watching. And,
Yeah.
this was 20 years ago.
Mm.
So now there's so much more information.
Information. Yeah,
And,
totally.
but then there really wasn't that much. And anyway, so I always say that the more she forgot, the more I remembered. And
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I started just journaling and these memories would come up of her and this incredible gratitude for everything that she did for me. And just like how can I help her?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And was that the impulse to put the show together?
Well, I was
The wanting to help her? I mean, because the desire to put a show on about your mom,
right.
I get that. I mean, I thought about doing a show about my mom, but I ended up just doing a little thing in a CD release party for the Edge of Everyday solo show. I'll send you the link to that.
Oh, great.
But this desire to give them some time on stage, it was primal.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I felt like the story itself, just like the combination of her story, our relationship,
Yeah.
my journey, like, those things, because in the middle of all that, I got a divorce. I got, my dog, my brother got sick. And I mean, there were just so many things going on. And I feel like um those moments of, those life disruptors when things just like everything at once. It's like
Sure.
everybody has that in their life. It's just like insanity. And you're grieving, but you're angry and you have no time. And there's just, and you got to
Yeah.
figure it out and be there for them. And oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was just such a time. So basically I was in a writer's group and I started bringing in some of these. stories. Like I'd read about a Christmas, and and it was just there was a lot of grief.
Yeah.
Just
Oh man, this is yeah, artist as healer,
yeah,
dealing with art, using art to heal. Yeah, keep
right. Yep.
so your writing was all about memories and your relationship with her and just trying to yeah.
Yeah. And then what happened was I brought the writings to a friend of mine, Matt Hoverman. And I, I read a bunch of stuff and he's like, it's really beautiful, but everything has the same arc. And so he helped me figure out
Well,
how
you
to
brought them to him
make,
because you had an idea to do a show. Is that
yes,
why you okay. So
yes,
the spark was there, and you knew that this was healing for you and that you
yes,
needed to do this.
right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And I had written some pieces that I just really loved, so it was like, how do we get this in there? And it was also this thing of, when you have that relationship with your mom, it's like I want to get my side out too.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't get usurped by this. This
Right,
amazing psychic like consumption of me,
right, right,
particularly now when they need me the most.
right. Yes, yes. Oh, there was just so much to it. It was just so like rich. So I just started and honestly in the beginning it was like, okay, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep exploring this.
Mm.
Here's a section, as we start making it a play, the beginning, a middle and an end, like when I was writing this, I mean, she was still with us. So
Mm.
it wasn't even a finished thing. It was kind of like I'm doing this as part therapy,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
totally.
trying to like kind of like get through this. And even then, I thought the show wasn't even finished, and I submitted it to the New York Fringe Festival because that had always been like a dream. And those were the days when the Fringe Festival was
It
really,
was big. Yeah.
big. It was the thing. Um, and it wasn't even finished, and it got in,
Mm.
and I was like, oh my God! All right,
Nothing
so
like nothing like that to
nothing
give you
like
a
a
shot to like,
deadline.
okay, exactly. Okay. Now vanity, it's a great motivator.
Yes. And I honestly thought that would be it. My 5 or 6 performances at a little, like, Lower East Side theater at a really inconvenient time, 15 minutes to get in and out.
Really?
That'll be it,
Oh.
but then, I have a great friend, Barbara Whitman, who
Mm.
happens to be an unbelievable, like, a very successful producer on Broadway. And I invited her, I've been friends with her for like 35 years at least. I invited her to come just with our other mutual friends from the way back times. And then she texted me after the show and said, I love it, and I'm going to help you. And it was like the 6 words
Yeah.
that you dream of hearing.
Yeah. It's
Um,
so not a thing in our biz. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
glorious.
that was kind of like the start, and then all kinds of developmental and things at second stage and different
Mhm.
great organizations, Bay Street Theater and a bunch of places just let me do Chicago Shakes, like developmental
Oh,
run.
fabulous. How long have you been doing this show?
Well, it premiered in 2014 at the
Okay.
Fringe, but
Excellent.
when Barbara came on board, then it took about 2 years. I think we brought on Kimberly Senior from the director of Disgraced on Broadway, which had just
Yeah.
won the Tony. We wanted to get together this all women team. And I always say it was sort of this magical life because we got these developmental little workshops. And then I always wanted to do, and I always did from the very beginning, do benefits. So
Mm.
my great friend Celeste Lacine, who was he knows these 2 great women on Cape Cod, the Alzheimer's Family Support Center of Cape Cod.
Wow.
They're two amazing, amazing women. They're not connected to the Alzheimer's organization. To me, they're very groundbreaking in how they help people.
Mm.
Anyway, so they were just beginning their organization, and Celeste said, "Why don't you go do a benefit?" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And and they they cold called um, the Cape Theater in Dennis,
In
Mass.
Dennis, Mass. Yeah.
And
It's a great
this
space.
beautiful, old, wonderful, iconic theater. And we packed it. We did this benefit. We raised a bunch of money. And it just so happened that my friend Mark Cuddy, who I knew from college, was the executive director of the Playhouse, and happened to be there the day of the show, was also the artistic director of Jiva.
Chiba, yeah.
So he saw the show and he's like, "What are your plans with it?" And I said, I don't know. I'm just
I don't
doing
know. What do you ask? What do you have in mind?
stuff." And he was like, "Well, I'm going to see if I can help you." And then like 6 months later, he put me on their season.
Ah,
So
fabulous.
there was just, and then I got into this big solo festival thing in Chicago, got a great run at the Greenhouse Theater. Like I said, it was just sort of one thing. I
Yeah, it
wasn't
just
out there
well,
marketing.
yeah, but it's just so important. And, it was the right blend of the talent, the story, the psychic bond, the energy, the friendships, the service. It was just the perfect mix at the perfect time. And it's like,
Yep.
your mom, her energy infused into it. It's so glorious. I love that you had so much help bringing it forward. That just
Yeah.
makes my heart explode,
Yes.
particularly in these challenging times.
Right. Yeah.
So, so y- what did you what did you profoundly learn about yourself by writing this show?
Well,
What edges did you explore?
um, the going back to what we originally started talking about, like that, the vulnerability, to be able to share a personal story,
Mm, yeah.
um, to kind of before going on stage every night, just doing my own little ceremony backstage of like, you know, um, I'm just here for service.
Yeah.
Um,
Let it come
whoever,
through.
exactly, whoever needs to hear this, I hope to be the instrument to do my best to share this
This
story.
is artist as healer. This is like
Yes.
my company, Sacred
Yep.
Stages. Actor as shaman.
Yes.
Sharing the
Yep.
from the other side.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, did you learn anything unexpected about your mom through this process?
Well, I mean, I think the things that I learned that were unexpected is just this idea that she's still with me.
Yeah. Mm.
Just this idea that, you know, so basically, and this is in the show, it's going to give it away. It's a thing. When I was developing it,
Okay, everyone, spoiler,
spoiler,
but
when I
not a
was
very big spoiler.
when I was developing the show, I had this, well, so I had these regrets about
Mm.
how my mom passed and how I took care of her and what we had to go through and what kind of a teenager I was. I had like a lot of regrets. And so I went to this. So my friend, she's like, "Oh, go see this woman, Diana. She's the real deal." And so I went to this woman, who is,
A
um,
psychic?
I guess a
A
psychic, but she's
channeler?
a channeler, but it's not kind of what she does. Anyway, I go and I'm completely uncomfortable and I don't know what to expect. And she's, becomes her guide and says, I don't normally do this, but I will for you. And then suddenly she's what do you want to know? And I said, well, I want to know if she's uh mad at me or uh then because I'm writing a show about her and I want to make sure she's okay with that,
Yeah.
you know? And then the psychic just went like, just became my mom, just went like, about me? I'm flattered. And like it was just sort of like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh. So I guess it was just sort of the sense that I wasn't really doing it alone,
Yeah.
that I was giving her stage time and she was thrilled.
Mm.
And so that I don't know if that's qualifies as an answer to your question, but
Oh,
it,
totally. But and
it
you answered one that I didn't quite get to. I was going to ask, did your mom ever see any of this development or any performances of it?
no.
Yeah.
No.
Did your brother, was he able to help any towards the end, was he able to be involved?
Oh, he was. It was just, I think the one thing I did learn about this is a very practical thing. And one of the people I try to bring to my talkbacks is this woman, Susie Sarkassian, who has helps families navigate aging, you know, and specifically like the roles that different family members play. And
Interesting.
what I did not realize, it's so weird. You come from the same parents and you grow up and you think you're kind of on the same page about things. That's how I felt. We're
Right.
on the
Sure.
same page about things. And then I'm having to spend a lot of time at my brother's house and I'm getting to know him on a completely different level. And also the way he wants to do things and the way I want to do things completely different. Excuse me. So it was uh it was so eye-opening
Yeah, I
and
can
shocking.
imagine.
I'm going to mute myself while I cough, if you don't
All right.
mind.
Oh, please, no. If you want to grab some agua, we can wait. I can sing a tune. You sure?
I think
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right.
Um, I may step out for a second and get some water. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, do it. Do it. And I will talk about I'll talk about I have a the link that I talked about with Melinda. You can go to my YouTube channel, um, Sandra Bargeman on the Edge of Every Day, and it was a song that I found. It was an old Joan Baez tune called The Edge of Glory. Interestingly, because Gaga's tune was out with the same title, but it was Edge of Glory. And I used that song to highlight my relationship with my mother and my gratitude for her support and the fact that and integrated some clips from a documentary that she and I did. Um, and Melinda is back, but I'll just quickly finish this. And there is clips from the documentary in the video that I wove in with the song, talking about how my mother had asked me at the end of her life to be the minister while I was in seminary, to be the minister at her funeral. So, hello, yeah. Yes, my first year of seminary.
Wow,
I know.
wow,
So I understand the
wow,
the 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 deep love and I mean, talk about an ask.
wow. That must have been, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. It with all that you can imagine, with all of the incredible beauty of that. I was with her when she died. That's going to be another question. I was with my mom when she passed. Um, Anyway,
Mm.
yeah, were you with your mother when I was not with my father? He was out with my sister in California.
Mm.
But I was with him via, you know, video at the very
Right.
end. Um, you were not with your mom when she passed?
I wasn't. And I
Mm.
think that was I missed her by a few minutes.
Mm.
That was one of the reasons, one of the motivators for going to the psychic because I was so upset
Mm.
that
I
I
get
that,
that.
that I wasn't with her. I wasn't prepared for I don't know. I thought she was going to be around for another day or so.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it.
It was a really difficult time, her passing, between my brother and I, and um, the place where she was. There was just a lot of complicating factors.
Yeah.
Um,
And all of those factors, have they been woven in have to your
yeah.
show? That's I cannot wait to see it.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I mean, I think I put it all out there because, families are, my brother and I love each other. It's not that. It's just you don't realize how different you are.
yeah,
And
yeah, until really push comes to shove.
right. And how things seismically shift when that patriarchal, matriarchal figure is no longer in the picture.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
totally. But I also think it's and this is the power of the caregiver role.
right.
The sense of people not, our society is not well educated in how to be with people who are dying, how to be with people who are sick, how to be with people who are leaving, how to be with our own feelings with that, the joy, the humor, the grief, the rage. And so, when you're tasked with having to handle that and deal with the one who can't, that's like
Yeah.
powerful sacred work. I mean, to navigate that and not lose your mind
Yeah. Yes.
while you're learning your own sense of relationship to grief,
Yeah.
you're helping someone else navigate it,
Right.
in-
Yes.
including your dying parent.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I mean, not you'd like to think that people are good at, as it comes to the end, that people are willing to kind of get on board with, oh, I'm leaving. Maybe isn't always the case. I mean,
Right.
thankfully, with my mother, it was the case. My father, with his dementia, it, I could never tease that out of him.
Mm, yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was such a learning time because I was learning about death at the same time.
yeah,
It's a very uh, it is, there were so many things that about that particular time because I was also it's also strikes you as a woman at a perfect at a person at this weird place in your life,
yeah.
right? I mean, nobody talks about menopause either. And
I was just gonna say, when I'm going into menopause and I've got anxiety and depression
right,
and
I can't
strange
sleep.
things are happening to my body and
Yes.
my all of a sudden I have a belly and
I
yeah.
mean, so many things are happening,
Oh, yeah.
to us. And this is when you're going to lose the parent. This is when you're going to,
Right. When I'm
uh,
at my prettiest. Thank
yes.
you.
Oh my God, going through a divorce. I mean, the whole thing was,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh
So I
my.
have, I have a whole bit, because I do a lot of comedy in the show.
Well,
Um,
good. This is a great segue into
yeah,
the lightness and of
yeah,
laughter and comedy and its ability to heal
right.
and how it is absolutely needed in
Yeah.
juxtaposition to edge right up to dealing with
Hmm.
that the
Hmm.
power and the poignancy of grief.
Right.
So, what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, my mom was really funny. I did stand up. There was also this need that if we're going to do this story, because it's sort of like, hey, come see my show about Alzheimer's. It's a parallel lives,
There's
it's
some tap dancing in it.
exactly, you don't, who's going to come? Nobody wants to come and see that show. And, in a way, you write shows and you've got like a target audience. Well, my target audience is also going through it, and maybe they don't want to actually come and
Yeah,
they're already living it.
yeah.
So what I tried to do with the show is to juxtapose, because no matter the worst situation in the world, there is going to be a moment where you have to laugh,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
you're
Or
gonna
you're
lose your
just gonna
mind,
cave in. Yeah.
or you're gonna cave. There's you talked about resilience. I mean, you have to have that ability to bend,
The release.
to release, and I did find that, like, there were moments that I really, yeah, had to laugh. So there's a
It's
lot of bits in the show. I have one bit is the middle-aged trifecta, which is a racetrack bit about like all the competing horses, and they're all, uh, colonoscopy coming up from the rear. It's all
oh, that's great. Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
there's a lot of, so there's a lot of, like, hopefully, to get people to really laugh. And then, of course, I'm this human being. I'm not this perfect human being. And I think that's also kind of, I'm glad I did the show. And it was the vulnerability is showing my imperfections as a human being. Didn't do
And your
everything,
mom's
and my mom's.
and
And
all of ours.
exactly. And in that way, people get to relate,
Yeah.
because
Feel
nobody,
liberated,
yeah,
liberated from their own feelings of guilt and
yeah,
or regret and or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I did the show at Playhouse on Park, beautiful theater in West Hartford, just in October.
Mm.
And it was like, I think it was actually the first weekend before the election, like 3 days before the election. So it was really hard to get an audience. People were out, doing stuff. Everybody in the Alzheimer's community is on a walk, because that's the walk season. So it was hard to get an audience, and we put a lot into it. We had a good crowd, but I felt like, wish had this beautiful theater. Wish we, had, and that's just the case with theater, right? Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. But somebody wrote to me from the Alzheimer's Association saying that this guy saw the show, and he just lost his spouse, and he was so inspired by the show that he has signed up to be this kind of permanent volunteer to, like, work with them and do, because he wanted to do service as a result of seeing the show. And that's that whole thing of, like, if you can reach one person, of getting, the ripple effect of telling our stories,
Indeed.
inspiring other people to get involved, to, use their life and their experiences to help somebody else.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I
that made me
mean,
feel better. It's like, okay, it wasn't.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah, those of us who are doing theater sort of outside of what's typical solo shows about topics that aren't tap dance worthy necessarily. Um, yeah, it's you really you have to have that mindset of I know I'm helping people. I know it, and I'm going to keep forging ahead, whether it's 100, one
Yep.
thousand.
Yep.
And really in that groove.
Yeah.
And, that's very self-sustaining. I want to talk about advocacy because I know that
Oh,
this is
yeah.
an important thing to you. And we're kind of running out of time. I want to get to advocacy, but I also want to give you a moment to plug. You've got another play that you're doing. Advocacy, folks. Those of you who aren't affected, right at the moment by Alzheimer's. Still run, don't walk, see the show. Because it's ubiquitous. This disease is it's the seventh leading. I couldn't believe the statistics that are on your
Yep.
website. The seventh leading cause of death in the U.S. 6.7 million Americans live with Alzheimer's today. 145% increase in Alzheimer's deaths between 2000 and 2019. 145%. Every 65 seconds, someone develops Alzheimer's disease. 13 million Americans are projected to have Alzheimer's by 2050. Like, uh, this begs the question, what are we not seeing about why this is growing? Why? What are we not seeing? 11 million Americans provide unpaid care for people with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So what are you learning in about advocacy and people's growing understanding and involvement and desire to be involved, like your gentleman? What other things have you learned in your talkbacks?
Well, the thing that's shocking to me, because a lot of times I'll be someplace and there'll be a friend like Leslie, like will be in the audience or and um this is not true for Leslie, but I did have another friend at a show I did in Connecticut, and I was shocked at what they did not know was available to them through either the Alzheimer's Association or through other caregiving things. I was just shocked that they were telling, a lot of times people will tell their story in the talkbacks,
Mm,
um, and you want to go like, okay, you need to you
yeah,
need to call because that behavior that you're telling me about, that's something that probably needs to be looked at. So I'm always a little bit surprised about people not knowing what's going on and being a little deer in the headlight.
yeah, and fearful to move to
And
really open that door.
right. And I think now more than, I mean, the cuts that are happening um it's devastating. It's devastating to every illness. But we were really kind of getting close,
Yeah.
to something. I
Oh,
do
we
the
don't need any more research. Come on.
It's
Oh,
devastating to me. And the other
dear
thing too,
God.
that Kamala Harris, when she was talking about helping caregivers, like having a provision in Medicare that was going to help caregivers, I was just like, yes, I gave up 10 years. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it pulled me out driving back and forth to Massachusetts, where my mom was, 4.5 hours each way, staying at my brother's, doing, managing the where she was.
Yeah.
That
Doing the
energy.
research about this medication, that
Exactly,
medication.
exactly. Advocating for her, do all these things as they started, even then when they were privatizing so many nursing homes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
to me, it's like I get so scared of what's coming if they get rid of Medicaid, because do you know how many seniors are on? My mom was on Medicaid in a nursing home.
Yeah.
If that goes away,
Yeah. My mother-in-law who's still with us. Yeah, I know.
and also they want to
I'm
take
not too far away
nurses.
from it.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
taking nurses out of nursing homes.
Yes.
That's what Dr. Oz, who's gonna,
Yeah,
who's up
he's so
for.
brilliant, right?
I mean,
Don't get, oh my God. And don't
so
people, anyone listening, don't confuse that. That was massive sarcasm.
yes, yes. I mean, what I've learned from advocacy is that we need to do so much. So I've picked this cause. Um,
Love it.
someone just contacted me from Woodbury, Connecticut, and can you bring the show there? I'm like, sure. Can we do a talk back? Can you get my friend Susie in? Can we? That's just what I feel like. And we're going to do a talk back in a little segue to my plug in Cape Cod. Uh, I've written another small play. It's going to be in this festival on the Cape with Helltown players, and
What's the name of it?
it's called well, my play is called Color My World,
Mm,
and it's not biographical at all, but it is a play about early onset. And and then there's another play in the festival, and it's a gay couple dealing with it. So we're going to do a talk back with the Alzheimer's Family Support Center of Cape Cod. They're going to come
fantastic.
after the show and do some things. I also work with an organization, Dementia Arts. They've been really great about spotlighting me.
Oh, Dementia Arts. Wow, that's
Yes,
a great resource.
it is a great resource, and you should look into it as well because
Yeah.
they support artists.
DementiaArts.com.
Yeah, maybe .org.
.org. Well, folks, I will research it and make sure that it's in
Yes,
the show
anyone
notes.
that has a story or they're featuring a film festival now with a bunch of stories and just people, sharing stories about
Dealing
dementia
with this. Yeah.
and their, but like again, educating people through arts.
Yes. Well, everyone gets uplifted
Yes.
through storytelling, the
Yes.
power, the extraordinary power of storytelling.
Right.
Because as actors and performers know, there's nothing more powerful than the vulnerability of the storytelling that gets to the heart of everyone's experience. I mean, I'm speaking to the choir with you. We're hardwired for it.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah.
well,
So
go ahead. Yeah.
no, I was just going to say there are terrific organizations, out there. I mean, of course, I'm a big advocate of the Alzheimer's Association as well and work with them a lot.
And
But there
that's
are,
on your website too, which
yeah,
we'll talk about. So when is this event happening?
the short plays on the Cape Cod.
Hmm?
Oh,
Mhm.
it's starting tomorrow night.
Oh, exciting. How long
And
is it?
it's going to be three different venues. So I think it's one weekend in Brewster at Cape Rep. And then there's another weekend in Orleans at a different theater, and then the Pilgrim House in Provincetown. So it'll run all
Oh,
the way
wow.
through April 20th, I think. Um,
Okay. Would you please do me the favor and send me the link so I can
yes.
include that in our incredible show notes about you
Yes, yes.
and your extraordinary
Wonderful,
work.
wonderful. I got to give a plug to James Dalglish, who put together this whole thing. He's just one of those wonderful artistic directors, has a vision, and
And a sense of service leadership.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And all the wonderful artists on Cape Cod. I love the fact that, since COVID, I think a lot of the, I'm
Yeah,
just,
the New York crowd went out, man.
yes,
I'm in the
everybody is
Catskill Mountains. I feel the
out.
same way. It's like, yeah,
Yes. And also, there's so much great work being done by regional theaters that I think doing my show in all these different places, I've really, really come to appreciate people bringing the arts into communities,
yeah.
that aren't
And
Broadway.
that aren't Broadway. Well, and did you said the phrase community. I mean,
Yes.
Alzheimer's community, the power of community,
Yes. I have
the
to show
and
you.
the times that we're in right now. Oh no.
I have to show
It's
you.
like,
My friend made this shirt that
oh,
she just sent me. Be the unity in your community. Susanna Rigo, she's a wonderful graphic artist in LA, just sent that to me. It's
oh,
like,
that's
I love it.
fantastic. Well, and we're hearing everyone say it. We're hearing all of the Substack people that, Heather Cox Richardson, Robert Hubble, all of the people with a genuine, huge, informed, this is the way through voice in journalism right at this insane moment that building community is of the utmost importance. And, my listeners, you've heard me mention I've got a cute little salon space that's on my property in my reimagined garage. It's all about building community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we should revisit
I would
coming.
love that. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I would love that. And I've got somebody from Cape Cod who wants to come and do her. She's going to
Oh,
be on and you need to know her, Susan Lambert. You
oh,
guys, do you
I
know
know
that
that.
name?
I know the name.
She's on Cape Cod, and she works with Ian Herman. My friend Ian Herman is her musical director. It's Cape
Wow.
Cod is, yeah, it's vibrant, and she's a New
Yes.
York Broadway girl back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I can send an email to hook you two up.
awesome.
Speaking of awesome, you are awesome. I am so grateful for you coming
Oh,
on my show. I mean, I feel like we have just touched on the tip of everything that I was hoping to get to, but it's always the way. And hopefully you'll come back and
yes.
we can hear more about what's happened in your journey of helping people to know more and be more present to the Alzheimer's predicament, the growth of it, the journey of it, the caregiving of it. Um,
Oh,
Thank you for the work that you do in the world.
oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. It's just incredible what you do. And like I said, I was thrilled when you asked me. I was like, yes, yes, let's just do it.
On April Fool's Day, to honor my
Yes.
father's passing, I have
No.
nothing better than to have spent it with you.
No. Thank you.
So I'm, we've talked about where people can find you. No, we have not. People can find you at Melinda. What's your website again?
Yes, yeah, I'm doing a little more construction, but the play website is really a good place. It's
Yes,
motherandmetheplay.com.
great. And then the new play that you just pitched, does that have its own website as well?
It doesn't. It doesn't yet. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting things under construction because I also teach and coach solo
All right.
artists
Oh, yeah.
under,
Okay,
and
folks,
that's
hear this.
oneupsolo.com. And
Oh, I read that today that you are teaching. Yes.
yes,
Listen,
yes.
I might want to call you up. I need some help on putting together my one woman show on Lilith as one of
Oh,
the main characters.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Please,
Lovely.
we'll set up a Zoom. Yeah, I work with a lot of people helping them. Most of the time, I used to be associate artistic director of Go Solo with Matt Hoverman in New York. Matt is still fantastic and he's doing classes. I tend to take people who already have a lot of material. They kind of know it, but it's just not a play yet, or it's
Yeah,
just not a show yet. They've got
yeah.
everything, but so with structure and things like that.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's so hard when it's your own. I mean,
Yes,
I'm very helpful with getting people. No, no, this cut, let
absolutely.
go of that, let go of that. But when it's mine,
Yes.
no.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Then we need that mirror. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, my babies.
Truly. Well, thank you again. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and we'll talk more soon.
Indeed. And for my listeners, I'm going to close with a beautiful uh, quote that I found. I quite literally Googled quotes about Alzheimer's. Now, this quote is not about it. It's very much for it, but it's really about life, human relationships. And that is the edge of every day, human relationships. So here it is by Arnie Garborg. To love a person is to learn the song in their heart and sing it to them when they have forgotten.
Mm.
And on that note,
Oh.
take good care. We will speak again when I see you next. Remember, you're always at the edge of the miraculous.
Pressing down on you, no man has fall under pressure.